Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys make $36.6 million move with Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys have restructured quarterback Dak Prescott's contract, opening up a large amount of cap space. Prescott signed the richest deal in league history last season, inking a 4-year, $240 million extension with Dallas. The restructure opens up $37 million in cap space. Prescott's previous cap number was set to be nearly $90 million. The move comes less than 24 hours after the Cowboys restructured the contract of wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who is also fresh off a lucrative extension. "I want to win. It's gonna take more than just myself," Lamb said on X after the move. Lamb signed a 4-year, $136 million extension with the Cowboys back in August. However, he made it clear that he wants to help Dallas compete after a 7-10 campaign. The legal tampering period for impending free agents starts on March 10th, with the official start of the league year. Free agency officially begins on March 12th. Cowboys have to reach deal with Micah Parsons. The Cowboys' biggest priority this offseason is signing edge rusher Micah Parsons to an extension. He's entering the final year of his contract and is expected to be among the highest-paid defenders in the NFL on his new deal. "There's definitely a plan in place, but we'll just see how everything plays out," Parsons said in February. "There's been no progress yet, but I'm pretty confident that something will happen, so we'll see." The price for Parsons is going up quickly, with multiple pass rushers expected to sign lucrative deals in the coming weeks. The Las Vegas Raiders struck first on Wednesday, signing Max Crosby to a 3-year, $106.5 million deal with $91.5 million guaranteed. Jane Slater of NFL Network said the Cowboys are in no rush to strike a deal with Parsons, although it's still expected to happen at some point this offseason. Prescott's season ended preemptively. He played in just 8 games due to a hamstring injury that required surgery. Prescott is rehabbing hard but expects to be ready for the start of next season. "I'm not gonna put a timeline on it, but I'll be ready for the first game and when anything matters and very, very ready," Prescott said, via Cowboys.com. "I'm feeling good. I'm doing more and more. The last 2 weeks have been huge and progressive for me. I wouldn't say I'm running full speed yet. But everything's on the right track, and I'm excited." Prescott's season was largely disappointing before the hamstring injury. He passed for 1,978 yards, 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. When he steps on the field next, the Cowboys will look different with new head coach Brian Schottenheimer on the sideline. Cowboys Jones hints at big-name $100 million free agency plan. The Dallas Cowboys have been moving and shaking over the past 48 hours with contract extensions and the flicking of switches on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contracts. That has freed up over $70 million in cap space, with a Micah Parsons extension set to add to that, all on a path toward about $100 million available toward a shopping spree of sorts when the NFL business year and free agency open on March 12th. For most, this new way of doing things has many excited for free agency, but if you were thinking that the Cowboys would look to go after the heavy hitters on the market, Dallas COO Stephen Jones might have just poured cold water on that thought. "We're looking for what fits, what works, and what fits for us," Jones told us on Wednesday from inside the Star. "Big names in my mind aren't necessarily always the answer, sometimes the big names don't pan out as well. Sure, but they can help. Right?" conceded Jones. "You look at a guy like Saquon Barkley, I mean obviously that made a huge difference, was a big name, and made a huge difference." Correct. And as our Mike Fisher notes, sometimes, if you want to drive a Lamborghini, you have to pay Lamborghini prices. Nevertheless, Stephen's comments go in line with our thoughts that the Cowboys won't be players with Tier 1 free agents like T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Milton Williams or Devontae Adams. but that they can be players when it comes to Tier 2 options. We're hearing a lot of buzz about Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton, though he could be seen as a Tier 1 option and might command a sizable salary. But what about Marquise Brown, Justin Reed, B.J. Hill, Robert Spillane or Charles Omenihu, or dozens of other candidates? They could be less expensive options, and all would help Dallas in their respective positions. In the end, while the Cowboys have created sizable cap space as part of the plan, it doesn't guarantee they will open the checkbook on day one of free agency, or at all. Unexpected NFL trade may save Cowboys from a massive draft mistake. Emotions are running high after the Dallas Cowboys held Zach Martin's retirement ceremony at the Star on Wednesday morning. Though Martin did not play up to his All-Pro standard the last 2 seasons, we are still talking about one of the best offensive linemen of his generation. The Cowboys could look internally, shop on the margins of free agency or take to the NFL draft to replenish their depth in the trenches. What they absolutely should not do is what the Bears did on Wednesday, trade for an expensive and aging starter in Joe Thuney. The drop-off for Thuney can happen at any moment, but the Bears are the least of our concerns. After all, this trade could benefit Dallas in a huge way come April. The general consensus in the NFL world is that the Bears will now target Ashton Jeanty with their first-round pick. They happen to draft 2 picks before the Cowboys at number 10 overall. Offensive line was arguably Chicago's biggest need this offseason. In the past 24 hours, they've traded for Thuney and Rams starter Jonah Jackson, who played under new head coach Ben Johnson in Detroit. With DJ Moore and Rome Odunze locked in as the top 2 receivers and Cole Kmet under contract at tight end, Jeanty suddenly makes a lot of sense for the Bears. That would be a blessing in disguise for the Cowboys. While Jeanty is an outstanding prospect, it would be a massive mistake for Dallas to spend a first-round pick on a running back in what is considered a historically deep class at the position. The draft is loaded with likely day 1 starters. A handful of prospects, not just Jeanty, have the potential to be immediate stars as well. That list includes Amarian Hampton, Quinton Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson and Tre'Veon Henderson, among others.